need to have that level of like self-love, that self-love, that like, you know, where you see yourself and you really know that you are extraordinary.
What is good? It's Carissa Cupido from Culture Beats, and today we have another episode of chatting to an inspirational person, a youthful person in Cape Town. I have Nalu, singer-songwriter, all-around creative and artist with me today, and we're going to get into a bit of a creative process and also into her mind and find out what it's like and what it takes to be an independent artist in South Africa today. Nalu, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're looking so dope. I see plants are friends, not food.
You know the vibes.
So
I mean, they are. No, they are. I do. I'm actually vegetarian.
Oh, you are?
I only eat plants.
So you're killing plants too?
No, we're like loving each other. That's what it is.
They're giving you love. They're giving you energy.
Exactly.
I feel the vibes. Welcome, Nalu. It's so good to have you, and of course, in your very comfortable, homey space of being in studio. I mean, of course, you are a musical artist. Yes. You're a songwriter as well, and you're a model. I mean, look at the material. But I wanted to take it back a little bit and start off with your childhood. You grew up with your brother and in your household, a nuclear household as well, with both your parents.
Yeah.
And you traveled around a bit. I mean, you spent a couple years in the UK and then in South Africa. I want to know what the sound was like growing up in your house. What kind of music was playing? What sort of conversations were being had? Sure. What sort of influence did your parents have on you as well?
So my whole family is super musical. Both my parents and my brother, everyone plays an instrument, everyone sings. Both grandparents on both sides of my family, everyone sings. All of my cousins play an instrument, so music is a huge thing in my family. And I grew up listening to, the OGs, the Luther Vandross, Diana Ross, George Benson, like all the soul people.
Yeah. No, that's good music. I love that. Tell me Sade was also playing at some point.
Of course.
Love it.
I actually have a really beautiful vinyl, like a collection of Sade songs, and it's incredible.
So was that your first step into music? Was that your first look into what your future might look like? Or were you not even thinking about becoming an artist at that point?
To be honest with you, I started playing the guitar when I was 8 years old, and then I started playing the violin at a time, but then I stopped, and then I started playing the piano and the flute as well, like as I got older. And I think music was always something that I knew that I wanted to do. It was a dream of mine to make it like, my main sort of hustle and my main sort of lifestyle. But I never knew that I'd be doing it in this way, and I'm super, super grateful to be able to do it like I'm doing it now.
And was your family supportive? Did they encourage the journey?
So at the time, I started like doing music professionally in 2018 while I was still studying at UCT, and then I graduated 2020, and I was able to take the year off to just sort of do what I love. And my parents were always supportive. They just said, get your degree and then spread your wings. So
that's beautiful. I think it helps so much, especially as an artist, to have that net of support around you, because it's such a lonely journey as well, right?
Definitely.
And you can get in your head a lot of the time, so you need that reinforcement and people around you to be like, good job, keep on going.
For real.
So tell me about your studies, because you said you wanted to make this your main hustle, yet you still continued and got a degree.
So there's other things that I am passionate about. So I studied politics, philosophy, and economics at UCT, and I was always interested in philosophy and economics and also politics. So I was able to sort of branch my mind out into different ways, and it's, to be honest with you, it's helped like the art, and it's helped like this hustle, because the lessons that I had to learn while studying, I'm now applying in my work life, which
tell us which lessons, because it's rough being a student.
It's just things like time management, being able to prioritize, like financial management and things like that. I think being a student was a huge part of my growth as a young woman, and I'm happy I did it.
Well, speaking about being a young woman, which you are, of course, I know you explore those sorts of themes in your music as well, like sexuality, like becoming a woman, things about love as well, themes about love. I want to get into your creative process. because I know that you said you graduated in 2020 and also released a lot of music, one of the singles being Lockdown Blues that came out. And you wrote the EP that you released in your bedroom. So tell us more about the intimate process of your creativity.
To be honest with you, I don't really have a creative process. I'm not gonna cap. Like some days the song starts with a guitar progression, some days it starts with an idea that I have, poetry that I write, and it's like, every song has its own sort of creative journey, which is quite cool because you hear it in how the music sounds different, But in terms of like speaking about like womanhood and sexuality and things, I think that there is also just like being somebody who's queer. I think that there's a lack of like strong sort of like queer narratives in R&B music specifically. I think R&B love songs are mainly, quite like heteronormative and stuff, which is okay, but I want to be able to like create a space where women can sing about whoever they love, and you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be
a guy.
It doesn't have to be a guy. Exactly. I think it's 2021. People can love who they want to love, and that's dope. So
I love that. I love that. I think it is important. Representation matters, as we know, and for you to fill that gap is really, really vital in the year we're living right now. So speak to me about you're 23 now.
Yes.
Being the youth of Cape Town and South Africa, and being in the space of being an independent artist. I know that a lot of your work is done digitally, especially because you released it in a time that we were all indoors. There was nowhere else to go.
Literally.
So has it been helpful for you using the digital space, and also being a youth? I sound so old. The youth. I am. What am I saying? Being a young person, let me put it that way. Have you found that the reception from other people your age has also been really good in the online space?
I think Carissa, I think the way that people are consuming music has shifted so much because of COVID, and because we're stuck inside, and like music is a part of healing, right? So the way that people are listening to music has changed. The way that people are like observing other people online has changed, and I think like I have received a lot of support online and stuff, but it's been quite a journey to navigate how to do that, because it's like all the sort of in-person elements that come with the release or that come with creating, like being able to sit in studio with your producer. I wasn't able to do that, and that sort of intimate process like had to change, and I had to get intimate with myself, and that's super dope as well, because I had to teach myself quite a few things, like technical things, like production things, and it sort of forced me to expand on my skill set as well as an artist. So it's been quite a journey, but I'm super excited like about what's to come, and I'm super glad that like I went through that process. So,
I mean, it's all part of the journey, right?
Yes.
And I do want to get into your album and the fact that it's going to get released this year, it's 2021. I wanted to chat about that and explore that a bit more, because I think, often people use excuses when it comes to starting up their careers, when it comes to pursuing a path that's creative, because they're thinking, it's for Nalu, it's for the Carissas of the world, it's for this person. And it kind of excludes them from the process, which it shouldn't be, because I feel like, especially in this day and age, it's a little bit more accessible to achieve the dreams that you want to, attaining them is not that far away. So what would you say to somebody that is using, Nalu's the superstar, not me, as an excuse to not start their own career in music in particular?
To be honest with you, like, what I would say is you have nothing to lose. You have absolutely nothing to lose. I think going out and just trying something new is like, it can be very simple, and we overcomplicate things in our heads because of anxiety and insecurity, but at the end of the day, you actually have nothing to lose. With my first single, Bedtime Confessions, I produced that single, and I recorded it using my phone, my cell phone mic. And I recorded the guitar on my cell phone mic, and I recorded my voice on my cell phone, and I put it into this super, super whack, like, online producing software. Like,
one of those free softwares that
literally, it was so sus. But anyway, I put it in there, and then I did it. The song is not mixed, the song is not mastered, and I released it. I was like, hey, this is Bedtime Confessions, cool. and people liked it. And that was super eye-opening for me, because it's like literally whatever you want to do, like any sort of dream that you have, you can bring to life, you know? We live in a world of abundance, and anything that you want, you can manifest, you know? So it's I think just go for it, you know? Don't think too much, just do it.
Don't think about it too much.
Exactly.
I love that. We live in a world of abundance. That is so beautiful. So being an independent artist in Cape Town and in South Africa, because I guess actually the world, because it's global, baby, you know? I can go anywhere.
We're international.
What exactly does that take? What does it look like? Because we obviously see you on Instagram and hear you on SoundCloud and Apple and Spotify and Good Hope and all these channels, but what does it actually take to be an independent artist?
I think just like a lot of dedication, being open to failure, being open to trying again. And knowing that it's okay, I think the thing of knowing that it's okay to fail is a huge thing, because it's like failure is a part of the steps to success. Do you know what I mean? Failure is a lesson, and I've failed a lot. You know, I'm learning a lot, and I've failed a lot, and it's like. I think what it takes is just being open to knowing that not everything is going to go perfectly, and that's okay. And that you just pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you try again. You know what I mean?
Celia, we see you.
You know, just like lots of dedication, you know, commitment as well is a huge thing. You know, being an independent artist, you don't have the sort of support structures that you would if you were signed to a label. So it's like everything that you have to push it, you are driving the boat. Do you know what I mean? You are pushing it, and you just gotta stay open, to be honest, for lack of a better word.
No, I think that's the best way to put it. You have to also be your own cheerleader, because there is no team to be like, keep on going, Nalu.
100%. You have to know who you are. You have to know that you are that person.
And that other person too. So, okay, I'm approaching you as somebody that wants to release a single. I obviously am not signed to anybody, and I want to know the steps that I take in order to do that. You said you record on your phone, you put is there a channel I put it up to get noticed? Is there a certain digital presence I have to have in order to get people's attention? Take me through what I have to do in order to get there.
Okay, it's your first single. Okay, so I'm saying if you try to find someone, a homie, a friend, a relative, anyone who has a mic or some sort of setup at home, okay? When I first got my mic, I didn't have any sort of insulation in my room. I literally put up blankets on a chair on the counter, and I made this makeshift insulation thing, and it worked. I mean, I don't know if
it worked,
but it did the job. And just sort of there's so many resources around us, and if you just literally think outside of the box, you can do anything, you know. So I would say record the single, get onto one of the online distributors like DistroKid or Ditto or something like that. Put your single up, make sure you have a dope cover art, something that's original, something that you didn't get online, and just, you can shoot it the amount of things I've shot on myself for myself, on my cell phone myself. Sorry, I don't know if that was cute.
I got you.
Genuinely, and then send your song to blogs and to, to companies who will put you on. I mean, they can reject you or maybe they won't, you know.
But shoot your shots.
Shoot your shot, 100%. Always shoot your shot, you know. It's you have, like I said again, you have nothing to lose.
100%. So is the trajectory of an independent artist to start off that way and then go into being signed, or are those two different journeys to go down?
This is a tricky question. I'm not gonna lie, I think it depends on the artist, and it depends on what your goals are and what your vision is for yourself. I think that being signed to a label can be many different things for different people. I think it just has to do with what you want for yourself, and also what the label's intentions are with you, and what your intentions are with the label and with your dream, and with your art. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, cool. Let's talk a bit about multiple streams of revenue. I think that, I'm an independent contractor, if you will, and I have a couple of avenues that I get income from. And I think especially in the gig economy and as a freelancer, you kind of need to have that approach, right?
Definitely.
Do you want to talk to me about the value of being a multi-hyphenate bae?
Yeah, I love that. So I think definitely with the modeling, like that's been a huge thing in terms of like stream of income and stuff, because I started modeling in 2019, and I was doing music and I was studying, and like I was gigging as well, so that there was like that revenue and stuff. But I think with like the modeling and also with different like brand campaigns I'm doing on Instagram and stuff, that's been super helpful. And yeah, just like the economy is super wild, and like I think to be able to just be comfortable with where you're at and have your independence is super important. So don't sort of be closed off to anything. If it aligns with you, with your values, and if it aligns with your brand, then you can go for it. And I think a lot of brands are also willing to, like the brands who approach me personally, they're approaching you because they want a little bit of your sauce, and you can add your sauce and your flavor to the campaign. You don't have to be like any other influencer, like any other artist. You know what I mean? They want you for you. So
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, about this whole idea of authenticity, because it's a word that gets thrown around, but of course, if you're real, you're real. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing more to it. So let's talk about creating a brand for yourself, because Nalu is your brand, and it's your personal brand, and it's your musical brand. So talk to me about developing a brand, about establishing it, but also not losing yourself within the system.
Yeah, I think the thing of like not losing yourself goes hand in hand with like staying authentic within your brand, because I feel like you can't have, if you're gonna develop a sort of brand, it needs to be you, because I feel like performing something, waking up every single day and going out into the world and having to perform something that isn't you, it would be just like super tiring and tedious, but yeah, for me, like Nalu is everything that I am, like the way that I present on social media, the way that I present when I'm, doing an interview. This is how I am, and it's I think it's beautiful that it's received so well by people, because I don't feel like I'm overextending myself too much, So I think authenticity is key. If you're going into something with a pure heart and good intentions and staying true to who you are, then that's dope.
Yeah, and that's all it is. Yeah. And Nalu, you were saying, means water.
It means one with the waves.
One with the waves, right?
It's actually a nickname given to me when I was young.
It's cute. I thought Nalu was from, oh no, that's Nala. I'm thinking, I was like, the Lion King, you got the main, let's go with the name as well. I love that, one with the water. I can relate to that, being a Cape Town baby.
Yes, exactly. And it's a nice reminder for me as well, my name meaning like one with the waves, because it's like I just gotta stay in flow, and I gotta adapt to whatever situation I'm put in, like water does, and if there's an obstacle that comes in my way, I can crash over it, or I can just meander around it, and it's very humbling. It brings me back to myself. It's grounding.
Well, that's a perfect segue, because I want to talk a little bit about obstacles and want to talk about challenges, because I think it is all good and well to be doing well, but when we're by ourselves, or even publicly sometimes, seeing as you are public facing, we do face a lot of challenges, 100%. Whether it's internal and our mental health, or trying to get signed, if that is your goal, for example. So do you want to talk to me about how you manage challenges?
Wow. I think for me, like self-care is a huge thing. Like I have a very I wouldn't say strict, but I have like quite a guided morning routine, and I like to wake up and journal. I do like a gratitude journal in the morning, where I sort of just write down 5 things I'm grateful for, and that sort of sets the tone for my day. And if I am going through something, that always sort of like redirects my head. I meditate a lot. I do yoga every day as well, and I think just when it comes to like dealing with challenges, I like mindfulness for me is the key to getting through anything. Just being able to exist right here, right now. Look at what's on the table, and sort of just process it in a healthy way. You know, I don't think that trying to distract yourself from anything works.
Yeah.
You know, whether you are indulging in something, whether you know, and at the end of the day, like, everyone has their vices. I do too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at the end of like, the most important thing is just sort of being mindful. And yeah, you can't avoid anything. You know, you can't ignore a challenge or something that you're dealing with.
And even if you tried, it would still come around and bite you in the butt. You have to confront it at some point or another. Yeah,
100%.
That's beautiful. I love the idea of mindfulness and also practicing it. I know that Tracy Ellis Ross is basically saying that mindfulness is doing what you're doing when you're doing it.
Yes.
And there's nothing more to it. It's just being present while we're here having this interview, while you're going to get your coffee or whatever it may be, your matcha tea, if you will.
Yes, you know the vibes.
All about them. So I want to really encourage the youth of Cape Town, and especially speaking to the creatives of Cape Town, because I think that there are so many, but they may be misdirected, they may be a little bit disheartened, because it's like, I've got all of this creative energy, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't even know where to start. So what would you say to encourage them, perhaps even give them a bit of advice as well?
I think this is an interesting question, because you're speaking specifically about the creatives in Cape Town, and the Cape Town industry is its own world compared to, like, you know, Joburg and other cities in South Africa, and it's like there's so much beautiful, like, creative juice here in Cape Town. You know, there's so much to be inspired by every single day. You know, as soon as you step out, we've got the ocean, we've got the mountain, we've got the different like cultures in Cape Town, the amount of diversity. And I think my one piece of advice would be, you know, sort of just go with your gut, you know, spread your wings, go with your gut, and take that leap of faith, you know. Also, wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, you know, like, thank you for being who you are. You know, that you need to have that level of, like, self-love, that self-love, that, like, you know, where you see yourself and you really know that you are extraordinary. So yeah, my advice would be looking in the mirror and telling yourself that you love yourself. Every day.
That's a good
every
place
morning.
to start. I love that. I think it's really important to. I love that self-love, self-love. Got to include both of those, because you have to see yourself before you see others. You know. It's often said that if you don't know yourself, it'd be easier to be influenced by what other people think of you and say you are.
Yes, exactly.
So when you step outside, you gotta know, this is Nalu, this is what I bring to the table as well.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, like, everyone is gonna be perceiving you all the time. And it's like, you can't, you know, we can never, like, be affected by other people's misperceptions of us, because that is one perception out of the, like, thousands of perceptions that you're gonna have throughout your life. You know, and the only perception that actually matters is yours, of yourself, because you know what's in your heart. So,
That's beautiful. So Nalu, to end off, I am curious about what you think the future of music looks like in Cape Town.
Wow, what a
Even South Africa, to be honest.
I think, you know, just to touch on what I said earlier about how people are consuming music differently because of COVID, I think it will just, you know, grow from there. So I think that, like, the way that, like, music is consumed will continue to change and shift over time, because of how the world is continuing to change and shift over time. And if you look at the influence of, like, you know, TikTok, for example, on music, it's been so crazy, like, you know what I mean?
And who would have predicted
Exactly. And yeah, I think, if anything, I think that music will become a bit more accessible to people. Like, the music will be able to stretch to further places, you know what I mean, further corners of South Africa. And yeah, I also think that there's a Cape Town sound specifically, like, from, you know, like the klopse to, like, the, like, jazz, Cape Town jazz. It's so rich, you know, our sound is so rich, and I think that will never die, but it will just continue to like, basically strain through in the new artists of Cape Town. I know my music has definitely been influenced by the Cape Town, you know, sound the sort of like Cape Malay influences. So
Yeah. Are we gonna hear some yacht music on your?
You know what I'm saying? I don't see why not.
I don't see why not. So let's quickly talk about this. Your album's gonna be released 2021, and I want to know: are we gonna get some features? What's the album about? Do you have a name yet?
I do have a name and I do have features. It's mostly done, to be honest. Just some finer details and things need to be done. But yeah, the project's called Can We Get Lost? Sort of just the invitation to the people. And I've got 2 features on it. I won't say who the features are just yet.
You're killing us,
I gotta I gotta keep it under wraps. But just watch the space. I'll be speaking about it quite soon on my page. So.
Amazing. So where can we find you, Nalu, across socials?
So my name is Nalu. You know the vibes, and it's just my handle's just Nalu with like 6 U's across Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook as well.
Amazing. Nalu, thank you so much for your time today. It was such a great conversation. I feel like I've learned a bit. I've also been reminded of quite a lot about, to check in with myself before I go out there and create and put my work out there. And I really appreciate the effort you put into your music. And I can't wait for Can We Get Lost? Can we?
Yeah, I mean, let's go. Let's get it.
Thank you so much for watching. And a huge shout out to you, Nalu, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's such a pleasure. Do remember to catch me every Saturday, 3 to 6 o'clock on Culture Beats on Good Hope FM. And in the meantime, stay safe and stay home.
This is Good Hope FM. This is Good